Hello and welcome to Hard Copy. I am Terry Ikumi. The gruesome rape and murder of 22 years old Vera Owala-Omozua a few days ago has somehow shifted attention slightly away from the COVID-19 pandemic in Nigeria and displaced major hashtags on social media. Justice for Owa has been trending on social media for days, coming on the heels of Justice for Tina, who was shot by a policeman in Lagos, and now followed by Justice for Barakat, among others. Although that of Tina is not related to sexual violence, the fact that she's a female has further highlighted additional dangers that the female gender faces in the country, apart from crimes directly targeted at her gender, such as rape. Now, these calls for justice have brought to the front burner the different responses of authorities who are saddled with the responsibility of ensuring the safety of women. Now, in Nigeria, federal and state authorities have territorial jurisdiction over matters of rape and sexual violence, and the penalties for this heinous crime differ from state to state. In Owala's case, following a national outcry which has seen the intervention of the President and the National Assembly, investigations have now been transferred to the force headquarters by the Inspector General of Police. However, the Edo State government will still have to own the responsibility of prosecution. Tonight on Hard Copy, we'll speak with Maria Edeko, Commissioner for Social Development and Gender Issues in Edo State. She is also a lawyer and former chairperson of the International Federation of Female Lawyers, FIDA, in Edo State. She's in our Benin studio. Commissioner Maria Edeko, welcome to Hard Copy. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I'm very curious to find out, and I think many Nigerians are, how the Edo State government is taking this. We know that the case has now been transferred to Abuja, but how's the Edo State government handling this beyond just the statements we've seen or heard?
Thank you very much. The investigation is being done, meeting with best practices, the fingerprints, the forensic, because when we visited the father, the parents, the fire extinguisher that they used him brutally, to murder that young girl. We're still at the scene, according to him, before the police came to retrieve all of that. And so suspects have been apprehended. And being a criminal case, you need to prove beyond reasonable doubt.
Commissioner, I'm going to ask you again. How is the Edo State handling the issue of rape as far as this is concerned and on a wider scale? Because Edo State has quite a history with rape. I don't know if you're familiar, but sometime in 2016, we had about 133 cases of rape. About 133 cases are reported within a span of about, say, 4 years or thereabout. Last year alone, we had almost 10 cases of rape reported.
To handle rape cases, we have the laws. Edo State is one of the few states in the Federation that have adopted, or people will want to call it domestication, of the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act. That has been domesticated. The criminal code is there, and usually for a state that have domesticated that law, that is a plus. And you also know we have set up the Sexual Assault Referral Center. That is for the victim, for the survivor. In this case, Uwa did not survive. Uwa died. But the parents are alive. I will talk about that because my ministry is Ministry of Social Development. Trauma, the psychosocial support we are going to bring to the family, to the parents. I will talk about that. For prosecution, I think we are doing very well because these days with the Sexual Assault Referral Committee made up of Ministry of Social Development and Gender Issues, Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Health, the police, this and some other NGOs, it facilitates investigation and prosecution. So in Edo State, we have a very robust system of handling sexual assault cases. Yeah.
So I'm worried here as to how the state is one of the few states that has domesticated the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, and you
Yes.
say that's working for the state. How many convictions has the Edo state government been able to secure concerning rape cases since you domesticated that act?
Right now, I don't have the statistics to, because we've just we are trying to set up the sexual offense register, and the various bodies like the Ministry of Justice, they have to do with prosecution of cases.
So you
But
so you
if I
don't
had,
you don't have the statistics of the number of rape cases that the state government has. But
no, I
but
don't have that.
do you have an estimate?
No, I don't want to guess, but I know that the way we are handling the rape cases and defilement cases and gender-based violence, we are securing lots of convictions.
So here's why that's just a
you will see
second.
that.
So here's why that may be a problem or a bother to quite a number of persons. You're the Commissioner for Social Development and Gender Issues. You're a lawyer. You've also worked with FIDA as its chairperson. So I'd like to believe that you're on top of the situation as far as gender-related issues are concerned, which also trickles down to rape cases. Is that correct?
Sorry, I'm not hearing you.
So I said,
I'm not hearing you.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I'm basically trying to get the details of the kind of steps the government is taking to address the issues of rape, and trying to get you to give a definite statement, or at least give a clear figure or suggest an estimate of how impactful the fight against
I'm not
the issue
hearing
of rape has been.
You know what you have asked is statistic data. Data is very important, but coming for this interview impromptu, I don't think I have it, it's not something I need to memorize.
All right, so I take it you don't have the information
but
then.
that is not what, that is not the relevant thing. As such, it's not quite, it's good, it's important, but the most important thing in issue of rape and defilement is the system you have in place for dealing with this issue.
So what
And
system
like
does the Edo State government have in place?
what you need to, in terms of crime, first of all, is to have laws that are contemporary. And I have told you that Edo State is one of the few states out of the 36 states in the Federation that have domesticated the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act. And that is a law that is very broad in scope. And it expanded the scope of rape as different from that, the provisions of the criminal code.
If I may come in
For
here,
me-
Commissioner, just a second. If I may come in here. So
Yeah.
the VAP Act is very well commended. Many people have said that it closes any loopholes as far as the issues of violence against persons, especially rape, are concerned. But it's quite questionable because we know that in this country it's beyond the laws that we promulgate. It's more about the laws, and it's more about how we enforce these laws. So it's very important for us to find out from you as a person in government. We'll come to your work as the chairperson of FIDA and to talk about how rape issues can be better addressed. But as a government, how can government, or how is your government better handling the issues of rape like this to give confidence to the women, the girls, the children in Edo State, especially because I'd like to draw your attention to the fact that Edo State will be having its elections in September, and women are going to come out to vote, and they might fear issues of harassment.
Thank you. I don't think that in Edo State that women need to be afraid, because what we have in any civilized system is to have laws and institutions to deal with the issue of crime. And I think Edo State, like I have mentioned, we have the law, we have the institution.
I'd like you to take us through the process of handling rape cases in Edo State from when the case is reported to when conviction is secured?
We have a very good system in place. Most cases, when there's issue of rape or defilement or gender-based violence, you see victims' family, they could report to the police. Majority come to the Ministry of Social Development and Gender Issues. Some go to NGOs. But wherever a report is made, what we do is to ensure that the police, they are involved. And that is why the Commissioner of Police in Edo State is a member of the steering committee that deal with sexual assault. And because he's a member of that committee, investigation is thoroughly done. Now, while investigation is going on with the Sexual Assault Referral Center that has just been set up, the one-stop center, forensic, examination is done, treatment of the victim by the medical team, because we have doctors and nurses, and we commence with the social support, which is the support, the clinical support given by the social worker, by the clinicians that are in the Ministry of Social Development. I was saying in the last few months, Edo State, with the support of RULAC, trained these social workers. They trained the medical doctors and the nurses. Once you are able to get this, we are able to collect these evidences, it's a whole lot easier to secure conviction. And prosecution starts. Recently, even during the lockdown, within very few days, we were able to secure conviction for certain persons that, were involved in incest, rape, defilement.
How many people?
For the records we had, at my ministry, within this period, we had incidences of almost about 50 persons that were involved in gender-based violence, consisting of rape, defilement, incest, and other form of assaults. The
Fine.
security agencies, they need to deal with people that are trafficking drugs, because many of the persons that are committing this rape, defilement, gender-based violence is induced by those substances they consume. So in all the nooks and crannies of our community, drugs are freely sold. So the security agencies need to deal with this so that our children and our community can be safe.
Thank you so much. Just before I let you go, I'd like to draw your attention to something that your last statement doesn't really paint a clear picture. And I think it would be dangerous of us to streamline the issues of rape in one direction. I say that because most of the crimes, in fact, a great percentage of the crimes that are being committed are not being done under the influence of drugs or alcohol. And we cannot keep creating excuses for our men to keep raping. But in all, thank you so much for finding time to come speak with us on Hard Copy.
Thank you.